Welcome you all in the lecture series on applied multiple regression analysis. Today, I will begin with introducing the conceptual background of multiple regression analysis. In fact, multiple regression analysis is considered an extension of the bivariate regression analysis. So, I will first introduce the basics of the correlation and regression, and then will demonstrate that how we can say that multiple regression analysis is basically an extension of bivariate regression analysis. The correlation basically represents the covariation between two variables, or correlation may be defined as the correspondence between two score series. The correspondence may be in the same direction. If one score series is increasing, the other score series is also increasing. If then this correspondence will be called positive correspondent, and the resulting correlation will be the positive correlation. And when the correspondence is in opposite direction, if one score series is increasing, the other is showing a decreasing trend, then this correspondence is a negative correspondence or opposite correspondence, and the resulting correlation will be the negative correlation. So correlation basically provide important information for making prediction of one variable based on one or more variables. Basically, correlation and regression go hand in hand, and without the knowledge of correlation, or you can say that the prerequisite for doing a regression analysis is that the variables must be having correlation also. So, and correlation provide the needed information for making this prediction. So regression is basically the prediction part, and correlation tells the degree and magnitude of the relationship as well as the direction of the relationship. So when we compute correlation, we can know how or to what extent the two variables are related. The degree is generally expressed as low, moderate, high. Suppose the correlation is 0.8, we will say that it is highly correlated and positively correlated. If correlation is minus 0.8, then we will say that it is strongly but negatively correlated. So basically it is an index of the magnitude and direction of relationship between two variables. However, correlation is limited to the given data set. Whatever we calculate, the index that we calculate, and there are several indices of correlation. Pearson product moment correlation is one index. Spearman's rank order, which is used for ordinal scale data, is another index. Any index of correlation is limited to the given data set. We cannot go beyond the data set. However, when we use this information contained in the correlated series or in the correlation, then we can make prediction even beyond the data. So regression analysis is basically a statistical tool to make prediction. So it is a statistical technique for making prediction about a variable based on its relationship with one or more other variables. And in regression, we can go to make prediction even beyond the observed data set. But correlation is limited to the data set. The variable that is being predicted is called criterion or outcome variable in regression terminology. And in experimental design approach, this variable is called dependent variable. So the dependent variable here in regression is called criterion variable or outcome variable. And the variables that are used to predict the outcome are called predictors or process variables. And these predictor or process variables in the multiple regression or bivariate regression analysis are equivalent to the independent variable in the experimental approach. Sometimes people also call dependent variable and independent variable even in regression analysis, but it is better to call criterion variable for the dependent and predictor or process variable for the independent. So again, let us define that regression analysis is a way, a statistical technique of predicting an outcome variable or the criterion variable from one predictor variable. Then this case will be called simple regression or bivariate regression. There is one predictor variable and one outcome variable. And regression also provides a way for predicting one outcome variable based on several predictor variables. Then this second case is called multiple regression. The regression analysis basically uses the information contained in the correlation and fit a model to the obtained data for making prediction. And using that model, we can make prediction in the given data set or beyond that data set. So the regression can be defined as the outcome or the criterion variable is equal to model and plus error. So whenever we make prediction, there is always chance of making random errors. So outcome is always equal to model plus error. But what is model here? I am discussing basically about linear regression analysis. So we are assuming that the variables are related linearly. So the model we will fit in a regression analysis will be a linear model. And the model in the above equation can be replaced by any equation or anything that defines a line. And we all have studied at the level of high school that a simple line is defined in terms of two things: the slope of the line and the intercept of the line. And it is represented in the form of equation y is equal to a plus bx. So this a plus bx is the model, regression model, and this is epsilon I or ei, you may say, is the error part. So basically this is yi is the outcome is equal to model, and model is the linear model, y is equal to a plus bx, and there is an error term. The standard way of representing bivariate regression equation is y predicted, and this y predicted is sometimes referred as y hat, one y caret. So we put a symbol over y like inverted b, then it will be called y hat, or just a prime single line. But most often the y hat is used to represent the predicted value of y. So y predicted is equal to a plus bx. And remember here, those particularly for the beginner students, those who are preparing for different competitive examinations, that generally when we write regression equation, we write y is equal to a plus bx. It is always y predicted. We predict the y using the equation a plus bx. So this is always predicted y and not y. So the correct way of representing regression equation is that y predicted or y hat is equal to a plus bx. If we write, many people write y is equal to a plus bx, but that is not the correct way of representing the regression equation. And in this, this is as evident from the name itself, this is the value predicted by the equation. So this is the predicted value of the dependent variable y. A is the value of the intercept, and intercept is where the regression line crosses the y-axis. Y-axis is always the vertical axis. So wherever line crosses, that value will be A. And if it is originating from the origin, then A will be always 0. And B is the regression coefficient, and basically in terms of algebraic expression, it is the slope of line. So B is called regression coefficient, and it basically tells the rate of change in the dependent variable with 1 unit change in the independent variable. So this, if suppose B is 0.5, then it tells that if the predictor X is changing by 1 unit in raw score terms, then the criterion will change by zero point 0.5 unit in raw score terms. And X is the value of the independent variable. Now, let us think how this prediction is made. I have plotted a scatter plot here, and this scatter plot shows if you draw a line here and one line here, it is a very wide two parallel lines. So if all the dots would have lied on the same line, then we can say that the correlation is perfect one correlation, but this is scattered, but it is having a positive correlation because the slope is positive but scattered. So it may be somewhere between zero point 0.5 or so. I don't know exactly, but experience tells that this correlation may be around this. Now, this is the actual data. We have obtained data up to this, not up to 8. And if I ask you to predict that if x is equal to say 2, what will be the value of y? In my real teaching experience, when I have asked the same question, some people say, sir, it will be this value around 6. Some say, no, sir, minimum it is this, so it will be somewhere this. Some people say, sir, there are total 5, so take this value. Different. But in real practice, what is the best predicted value for 2 is that if we take the average of all the observed values and take its mean, suppose I have shown this big circle as mean. So if one has scored 2, then the probable score of that individual will be, if you draw a parallel line here, it will be around 3.5. Similarly, if I ask what will be the value of y when x is equal to 4, we will have to compute a mean of all the observed value, and we can say this is the best predicted value. Similarly, I have taken one more point. Suppose the score is this, then this is the mean of all the values, and thus I have assumed that this is the mean value. It is not calculated. It is just for making you help to visualize the things. So these are the best predicted values. So we can calculate the mean values, and suppose we have done several mean calculations, then we can join these mean values with a line. And this line may be considered as a regression line. Now, if we have developed a model, a linear model, a regression line, now Though we have obtained data up to this point, we can go beyond this. We have not obtained any score on Ex which is equal to 8, but we can make prediction. If Ex is equal to 8, then you draw a line here and then draw a parallel line here. And you can predict that it will be around 7 or 6.9, something like this. So this is basically the basic way of drawing a regression line or defining a regression equation. And in this sense, this is basically a moving average line. But this basic principle is called least square principle that I will explain. So based on this, I have just shown that if the value is somewhere this, then this value will be on y will be this. If the value on x is this, then we can draw a perpendicular here and a parallel line here, and we can make the predictions. So basically, this is one statistical way to make best prediction if we know that two variables are related. Based on this relationship, this scatter plot, we have developed this regression line. And this is the slope. So this angle defines the slope of the line. So this theta value is basically in geometry, this is not actually theta, it is some other value, but this angular inclination will tell us if the angle is wider or smaller, the slope will differ. And this value, when x is equal to 0, where the line is crossing the y-axis is intercept. So this value is 2 point, say 2 or 3 is the intercept. And based on this, the value of b and the intercept, we can write this line in a form of equation y is equal to a plus bx. But this is the equation of line, not the regression line. Regression line will be predicted y is equal to a plus bx. And these are some examples of, this is two regression lines. They are having the same intercept, but the slope is different. This one is having a positive slope and this one is having a negative slope. How we determine the negative slope? If x is increasing, then y is decreasing. If x is increasing here, then y is coming here. If x is here, then y is here. And in this case, if x will increase, the y will also increase. This is another example that intercept is different, but if you see the angular inclination of these three lines, the slopes are same. So same gradient or same slope, but different intercept. So whenever we will draw, so regression line may be considered a family of, with depending on the data, there may be a number of regression lines and they may differ in terms of two parameters, in terms of slope and in terms of intercept or both. So in this case, the slope is same but intercept is different. In this case, intercept is same but slope is different. And in other cases, the slope and intercept of the two regression lines both may differ. Now, this is the graph from which I will tell you the principle of the least square method. The least square method says that the values, the predicted values are on this line. So these are the dots on these lines are the predicted values and these are the observed values. So whenever we take the difference of the predicted and the observed, this difference is negative, this difference is positive, this difference is positive. Those which are coming downside are having negative. If we will square all these deviations, Which deviation? Deviation of the predicted value and the observed value. And if we will square these deviations and sum all the deviations, then it should be the list. So the best fitting line is that line which passes from the different data set in such a way that deviation taken from the line, that is the predicted values, with the observed values will always be minimum. And now try to recall the property of the mean. Sum of deviation taken from mean is always 0, and sum of the square deviation taken from mean is always minimum. Just I will try to open one Excel sheet to demonstrate this principle here, and then I will again begin the I am entering a few values here, say 2 5, oh sorry, number is not taken, to just few numbers, any number will do. And let us take the mean of all these values. There are 6 values. You can go here, auto sum, and then select average. 6 is the mean. If I take deviation from the mean, and mean is the predicted value, as I said earlier, so we can do it by subtracting the mean. So I am subtracting 2 minus 6. 2 minus 6 is minus 4. And just drag it. It will do the calculation for others. So these are the values. And when we will sum it, look, it is 0. So sum of the deviation taken from mean will always be 0. And if I take the sum of the square deviation, so this column is the deviation column. So let us do the square. Simple way is to multiply the same value by the same value. So this will be square. So minus 4 square is 16. 2 square is 4, you know. Just check. And these are the square value. And now sum. So sum of the square deviation is 42, and it will be always minimum because it has been taken from mean 6. Now you just take any other value other than mean, any value, and if you think that the value will be lower than 42, no, it will never occur. Because statistically it has been documented that the sum of square deviation taken from mean will always be minimum, least. Just for example, I am taking 5 as an arbitrary value is equal to observed value minus 5. And I am putting, let me do it again, is equal to, put bracket, this minus 5, then bracket, then this caret 2. This will be the squared value. So I am taking the deviation and square directly in this column. So these are the square deviation taken from 5 other than mean. And now let us sum. This is 48. So you can try on your own. using Excel or using your paper pencil or calculator, take any simple data value, take its mean. The sum of square deviation taken from mean will always be minimum. So I am closing this without saving it. It was just for demonstration, and I will then proceed with what I was discussing. So this is the principle of least square. So what is the principle of least square? That deviation of the observed value taken from the best fitting line, that is the predicted value, will always be least or minimum. So this is called the principle of least square method, and this bivariate regression or other regression lines are drawn on the basis of this least square method. And I am just discussing the bivariate regression, and then I will discuss how multiple regression analysis is an extension. Multiple regression analysis is a statistical technique that is used to predict a continuous criterion or outcome variable by a set of quantitatively measured continuous and or categorical variables. So in multiple regression, there will be one outcome variable or dependent variable in experimental terminology, and the predictors will be two or more. And the predictors may be continuous, may be categorical, or may be both continuous and categorical. But the criterion or outcome variable or the dependent variable must be continuous metric variable. One DV will be the criterion will be categorical, then the regression used to make that prediction is called logistic regression analysis. If the dependent variable is dichotomous, then that logistic regression analysis is called binary logistic regression analysis. And if the dependent variable is having multi-categories, then that is called multinomial logistic regression analysis. In some other lecture, I will try to cover the logistic regression analysis also. But let us first be clear what is multiple regression analysis. So, multiple regression analysis may be considered as an extension of the bivariate regression for several independent variables or predictor variables. Why I am saying this? Because if somehow we can combine the predictor variables into one composite variable, that is a variate, and you can view or watch my video on what is multivariate analysis. So I have explained that concept of variate. So if dependent variable is single one y, but we are having several independent variables, say x1, x2, x3, and if we take a linear composite of all the i's and create one composite variable, say x, then the correlation between x and y is a bivariate correlation, but in this case this will be multiple correlation. So multiple correlation is basically an extension of the bivariate correlation. What is the difference? That rather than taking one predictor, we are taking a linear composite of different predictors and taking the correlation of that composite with the criterion variable. If IVs are not correlated with each other, then this composite score can be drawn very easily by summing all the scores. So the weight will be 1 in that condition, and you can add the independent variables or predictors and get one composite. For example, there are two variables, say this is x1 and this is x2, and these two variables are not overlapping with each other. So we can add x1 and x2 and get the correlation of the composite score with this, and we will get the same correlation, same variance explained by these composite score as it is explained by these two variables together. This variable is explaining the variance A, this is the overlap. This variable is explaining the variance B, this overlap. And there is no overlap between IVs and DVs. But in real case, in real life, we will find this type of situation. These are three IVs, IV1, IV2, IV3, or predictor 1, predictor 2, predictor 3. Now see here, predictor 1 and 2 are highly correlated with each other. So if we will add IV1 plus IV2, then this overlapping value will be repeated two times. Suppose this value is, this total value is say X, and if we are adding these two variables, and suppose this is A, this is B, and this is C. So when we will add, this will be A plus B plus C, and the B will be repeated two times. So the resultant will be A plus C plus 2B. So in real life, we cannot create the composite by just summing the predictors variables. So we will have to take the orthogonal component of the predictors. Orthogonal means non-overlapping or independent components. So in this diagram, this IV1 is explaining this variance A, which is independent of the variance explained by IV2, because IV2 is explaining this much variance B, C, and D. The IV3 is explaining variance E, independent of the variance explained by IV2, and IV2 is again explaining B, C, and D. And when you come to IV2, it is explaining only C variance, because this B variance is also explained by IV1, and this D variance is also explained by IV3. But this C variance is explained only and only by IV1. So A, C, and E are the unique contribution of the three IVs. But the total contribution of the three variables IV1, 2, 3 will always be A plus B plus C plus D plus E. So these three variables together are explaining this much variance. So in real life, we partial out the overlapping component, and we take the orthogonal component of the IVs, and then we create a composite. And this is one algebraic method of taking that composite. I am just simplifying this without going into the mathematical part. And then that composite score will be one single score which will be correlated with the dependent variable, and it will always give the same value. In the next pictorial diagram, I have tried to represent the same thing. Suppose these are x1, x2, x3, the color is not appropriate, so it is not visible. So the x1, x2, x3, x4, these are four variables. So beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, beta 4, these are the standardized regression weights. So these are suggesting the orthogonal component, what part of the x1 should be taken. So beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 plus beta 3 x3 plus beta 4 x4 will result in a composite variable x. And if we correlate this x, this is now a new linear combination. This is a variate. Variables are directly measured and variate are derived by weighted linear composite. So beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 plus beta 3 x3 plus beta 4 x4 is equal to x. And then if we will calculate the bivariate correlation between x and the dependent variable, then that correlation will be the multiple correlation. And here I will demonstrate this with the data also, so that you can have a better understanding that how this Multiple regression analysis is an extension of the bivariate regression analysis. Why it is bivariate? If you look at this portion, you are correlating only two variables, one composite variable and one predictor variable. But this composite variable is containing information about these four predictors variables. So basically, this is a multiple regression analysis, but this multiple regression analysis can be seen as extension of the bivariate regression analysis. Now, I am trying to show you this using data. There are different variables. I will show this with two variables, say positive emotions and negative emotions. These are two predictor variables. And we all know that these two variables influence our health. In this data, we have different variables: somatic complaint, anxiety, in social dysfunction, depression. These are the four dimensions of general health questionnaires. GSQ total is also here, and the predictors are positive, negative effect. These are three dimensions of a construct called alexithymia: difficulty in identifying emotion, difficulty in describing emotion, externally oriented thinking. These are also considered predictor of health. We can do demonstration with these two, but it is simple to do with positive and negative effects. So if we want to predict, if you are feeling positive, then your health should be better. If you are feeling negative, then it is predicted that health will not be better, it will be poor. But we are interested in knowing the joint contribution of the positive negative effect, the joint correlation of the positive negative effect with, say, depression. So for doing this, we will go in analyze, then in regression, and in regression we will select linear. In your SPSS, this dialog box will not produce this many because I have added too many add-ons from R and Python. I am resetting this. So let us take depression as the dependent variable or the outcome variable. We want to predict depression based on how much individual is feeling positive and how much negative. And just click OK. It will produce output. Now look at this output. This is the value of R. R is 0.679 and this is the R square. So these two variables are explaining 46.1% variance in the depression. The predictor is depression. Now just do the same thing, repeat this linear regression, but this time I will save the unstandardized predicted value. I am just deleting all these outputs so that it may not create a lot of confusion. Now come to the data and go in the end. You will find that this is predicted one variable. This is the variable predicted on the basis of positive and negative effect. So just see this slide. Suppose this circle is depression and this is positive effect, this is negative effect. So A plus B is the predicted value. So the predicted value is not the actually Y. You may be thinking that I am predicting Y. So this information is how much part of the Y is explained by positive effect and how much part of the Y is explained by negative effect. So this score contains the information of the positive effect and negative effect only in the Y. The contribution of positive effect and negative effect in Y. Now you do the regression, or you can do simple correlation also. Now you change the predictors and take this composite score. So this predicted value is having information of both positive and negative effect. This is derived by beta 1 positive effect plus beta 2 negative effect is equal to predicted value. And now put this predicted value in the independent and click OK. Now this is the output, and see, let me repeat it for so that you can compare. Now again put positive effect and negative effect and do the regression. Now see, in the model summary, the predicted value, single variable, this is the composite variable, the R is 0.679. This is the multiple correlation. And now you come to this summary. The predictors are negative effect, positive effect, but the value is same, 0.679. You may be thinking that I am doing it with the regression analysis, therefore these two values are coming same. So let us compute bivariate correlation between depression and the predicted value. This is the bivariate correlation. And look, the bivariate correlation is 0.679. So what I was trying to explain is that basically multiple regression analysis is an extension of bivariate regression analysis. What we do that in real life the predictors are overlapping with each other, they are having relationship with each other, they are correlated with each other, and therefore we take the non-overlapping part, and that non-overlapping proportion is represented by the regression weights beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, beta 4. Mathematically, there are many other things. I would not complicate it. Just I am simplifying the things. And if we take beta 1 portion of the x1 plus beta 2 portion of the x2 plus beta 3 portion of the x3 plus beta 4 proportion of the x4, and then we add all these and create one x, that is the predicted value, and then we compute the dependent variable correlation, that is the bivariate correlation. It will be same as multiple correlation. So multiple correlation is basically an extension of bivariate correlation, and this is the general form of writing multiple regression equation in raw score forms. So in raw score forms, regression weights are represented by B. So this is the Y predicted value. This is intercept A. Intercept A is the predicted value of Y when the predictor values are all 0. So this is the intercept. This is the predicted value of Y when all the predictors are at 0 level. B1, B2, B3, these are the regression weight, and as I said earlier, these regression coefficients or regression weight tells the rate of change in the predictor. So if 1 unit change will take in x1, then this beta 1 unit will be the amount of change in the predictor. If it is 0.5, then 1 unit increase in x1 will result in 0.5 unit change in predictor y. So a plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2 plus bn xn, this is the general form of regression equation. And these regression coefficients are also called as partial regression coefficient. Why? Because each reflects the relative contribution of its independent variable when we have statistically controlled or partial out the effect of all other predictors. So this is the orthogonal component only. This is the beta 1 is representing that portion of xn which is not overlapping with x2 and x3. Beta 2 is representing that portion of x2 which is not overlapping with x1 and x3, like this. But when we represent the regression equation in standard score form, then you can think of that standard score form regression is that converting the raw score into standard score. And what is the standard score formula? X minus the mean divided by EST. And if you compute the regression equation using the standard score, you will get this type of equation. So y predicted is now the regression coefficients beta 1, beta 2, beta n are called standardized regression coefficients. B1, B2 are called unstandardized regression coefficients. See one change here from the raw. In raw there is intercept, but in standard regression form there is no intercept. Why? So whenever we will draw a regression line based on a standardized regression equation, it will always pass through the origin. The intercept will always be 0. Why? Because all the scores have been converted into standard normal score, standard scores. And the standard score have the property that the mean of the Z is 0 and standard deviation is 1. So when all the values of the predictors will be at the 0 level, the y will also be at the mean, because the mean of the y will also be 0. And therefore, there is no intercept term introduced in the standardized regression equation. Just I have tried to show you that if we are working with three variable problem, two are predictors and one criterions. This is record cell in thousands. This is the criterion, and these are and I have taken it from the popular book on statistics. This is not my own. I thankfully acknowledge. And then you can see that this is the rate of change in this variable. This slope is showing the rate of change in this variable. And this is the plane. This is the, say, the whole plane is rising up. So in bivariate regression, one line was just moving up and down. Here, the entire floor is moving up. Suppose this is a room, then in the three variable case, the slope will be determined by how much the floor is raised. This is just one, but it will be difficult to visualize when the predictors are more than two. So thank you very much for listening me. I have tried my best, but I may not be clear at several points. So you may ask questions as comments on my YouTube video, or you can contact me. I will try to answer your questions. In next lecture, I will discuss the various strategies of doing multiple regression analysis.